Hi, welcome to Next Tech Byte. I don't usually use a tablet every day, but when something like the RedMagic Astra shows up, it's hard to ignore. This is RedMagic's second gaming tablet, and it already feels like a big step up from their first. Try. It's lighter, thinner, and more powerful. But the real highlight, that new OLED display. The Astra just launched globally and starts at $499, which is a pretty aggressive price for what you're getting. I've got the Eclipse Black version here, but there's also a Starfrost Silver option. Just a heads up if you want the 1TB storage variant, that's only available in the Eclipse color. While we're talking colors, RedMagic also dropped a new finish for their XR smartphone. It's called Flare, and it looks amazing. The design actually looks more like the Astra tablet than their XR or 10S Pro phones. It's 10% thinner than other models in the XR series, sitting at just 7.85mm. But it still has shoulder triggers and a full-screen display thanks to the under-display selfie camera. If you're curious about that phone, you can check out the link in the description. But back to the Astra. The RedMagic Astra feels like a mix between a gaming phone and a tablet. It's just 6.9mm thick, which is even thinner than the XR. It also weighs only 370 grams. That's much lighter than their first tablet. Even though the back is still made of metal with flat side rails, it feels solid, but not too heavy. In the hand, on the top frame, you'll find the power button, which also works as a fingerprint sensor. It's not the fastest, but it does the job. Once you're past that, you're greeted by the star of the show, the display. It's a flat 9.06-inch OLED panel with a 2.4K resolution. The color coverage hits 100% of the DCI-P3 gamut. It also refreshes at up to 165 Hz, so everything feels buttery smooth. They've even worked with Synaptics to create a custom touch chip that offers an insane 20,000 Hz instant touch sampling rate. Though the standard touch sampling remains at 240 Hz, it's still more than enough for gaming. One of the biggest upgrades is the brightness. The Astra hits 1600 nits peak brightness and even manages 1100 nits full screen. That's a huge jump from the 550 nits we got with their first tablet. The switch from LCD to OLED makes a massive difference. OLED brings deeper blacks, higher contrast, faster response times, and much better color. Most other tablets around this price still use LCD panels, so RedMagic choosing OLED here makes a lot of sense. They've also slimmed down the bezels to just 4.9mm all around. These bezels are thin enough to feel modern, but thick enough so you're not accidentally touching the screen when you're holding it. The overall size feels just right. It's big enough to enjoy movies and games, but not so big that it feels awkward to hold in landscape. It strikes a good balance. At the top bezel, you'll find the selfie camera. It's really small, probably the smallest I've seen on a tablet. It's a 9-megapixel sensor, but the photos it takes are output at 7.68 megapixels. Honestly, the selfies look fine, not amazing, but decent for video calls and social media. When it comes to video, though, the front camera tops out at 1080p and 30 frames per second. It's not groundbreaking, but it's enough for basic use. Let me know in the comments what you think of the video and mic performance. Around the back, there's a transparent glass section with RGB LEDs for the RedMagic logo and a physical cooling fan. This LED strip can stay on even when the tablet is locked. Just like on their flagship phones, the camera bump is now gone too. The back is completely flat, and the single 13-megapixel camera sits behind that same glass area. This is actually a downgrade from the 50-megapixel camera we got on their first tablet, the Nova. Still, the shots are decent at its native focal length, and you can zoom up to 10x, though you'll start to lose quality the more you zoom in. Video recording with the rear camera maxes out at 4030 fps. In fact, every resolution is capped at 30 fps. Even with the anti-shake feature turned on, the footage is a bit shaky. But to be fair, no one is buying a tablet for its camera. It's nice to have a camera that works, but it's not a major selling point. At least this time, the tablet has an IP5 for rating for dust and water resistance, so it can survive a little rain if you're out and about. The active turbo fan is also hidden behind the glass on the back. Unlike their gaming phones, there are no visible vents here. That's because the fan is completely internal. This makes sense since the larger body of a tablet offers more space for internal cooling. Still, it's something to watch. Some heat might build up inside the chassis. That same glass area also shows off some printed text, including info about the cooling system. Speaking of cooling, this tablet uses a dual-layer vapor chamber system. One layer sits above the chip, the other below it. Together, they help spread heat out more efficiently. There's also liquid metal 2.0, now processed into a solid state that sits between the CPU and the battery. This should keep both components cool during long gaming sessions. Under the hood, the Astra has a massive 8,000 to 100 mAh battery, the biggest battery you'll find in any 9-inch or smaller tablet today. Charging from 0 to 100 takes around 71 minutes, which is a little slower than the Nova's under 60-minute charge time, but still fast. That's especially impressive when you consider this tablet has an old screen and is powered by the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, officially known as the Elite chip. It's not the overclocked version you see in some gaming phones, but surprisingly, the performance isn't far off. In fact, the Antutu benchmark score is almost identical to the overclocked version. Geekbench 6 shows a similar single-core result, though the multi-core score is a bit lower. GPU scores were also slightly behind, but not enough to make a noticeable difference in gameplay. It's still very capable. And just like RedMagic's latest phones, the Astra features LPDDR5T RAM and UFS 4.1 Pro storage. There's also the Red Core R3 Pro chip, which handles game-related features and offloads some tasks from the Snapdragon CPU. All of this helps keep things running smoothly even under load. One feature that's missing, though, is an always-on display. It's disappointing, especially since it's an old screen. The software is basically the same as their phones. RedMagic OS 10.5, layered over Android 15, that means the same issues are still here. No large folders, no Google Discover, and no Circle to search. You do get Google Gemini and interactive widgets, which is nice, but the home screen layout is stuck to a 6x4 grid. No matter how you hold the tablet, there are accessories coming soon, like a gamepad and keyboard, which should help give it more of a traditional tablet feel. The gamepad especially looks promising for mobile gamers.